There's three levels, and there's the culminate manifestation. That's where everything's played out and everything that is gained, everything that could be gained is gained, and everything that could be lost is lost. Where everything's played out. That's what you call culminate manifestation. So that's the lower level. Then there's the levels of possibilities, and then on top of that is natural attainment, where there's all possibilities, and everything that could be attained it's complete satisfaction, is completely attained. So, as far as the crossroads subject, one of the concepts in the list, in the 10 elements list that I was able to attribute to it, is the natural attainment. And then the other one was solidifying goals, making things explicit. And you do that when you have already weighed out the values and the possibilities, and you've already placed the action or the item in a specific time and place. So, and I think that the crossroads is that the forked road is it's going to lean, the solution to the forked road is going to lead more towards that concept, that idea of the solidifying goal rather than natural attainment, because natural attainment is about reaching a state of satisfaction, and the solidifying goal is about manifesting things, about bringing things to their full manifestation, to their present manifestation. Then again, I have to consolidate the how and why would you solidify a goal when you have natural attainment in the first place? So that's another question that comes up, and I will have to address that. So in the middle level, there's you take things that you take into consideration is chance, probability, possibility, and there's a factor of unknown. There's a kind of a sense of gambling with the possibilities, because you don't always know what you're going to get. So there's the unknown aspect of probability, and whether you attain an object or not, it depends on your skill in observation, and it depends on your skill in attainment. It depends on how well you observe a situation, and what you can make of it, and your skill to be able to attain the item and in the given circumstances that the unknown presents. So that's what's involved here. In the culminant manifestation level, things are more straightforward. So in the culminant manifestation level, the forked road can be better expressed as you have A here, B here, and nothing in the forked road because you haven't made a decision. So there's actually three roads in the culminant manifestation, because if you spend all of eternity in the fork, you never get anything. There's no attainment. And the choice is either A, B, or nothing. So there's no getting both in the culminant manifestation. Also, if there's a risk involved in, for example, if A is sure, if A is the sure attainment, and B there's risk involved, should you think of B as plus or as minus, as a gain or as a loss? And I guess to make that decision to whether you should think of B as a plus or a minus, as a gain or as a loss, it would depend on, first, your chances. I mean, whether you think of it as a gain or a loss will determine the attitude that you approach it with, and the attitude that you approach it with will determine your chances of obtaining it. So that's kind of a bit of circular logic right there. But I think the attitude that is most commonly seen as appropriate for these situations is prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I think it's something like that, where you kind of prepare yourself to be most disappointed. So when you choose B, there's a possibility of B and not B, and depending on the situation, it could be. It depends on the stakes and the percentage of of the attainment. If you choose A, let's say A is a constant income, and B is you get paid in commission, and that depends on the amount of work that you do, and it could be a gain or a loss, and it's just business, right? So if you choose B, there's a chance for a lot of wealth, but there's also a chance for losses. It's more of a gamble. So yeah, I'll have to think about that. On another note, thinking about the factors that affect one's decision, whether A or B. I'll give an example of something that happened a few days ago. I got the stuff. I was out on the way here, on the way to this place. We're in a retreat area, and on the way to this place, I was loading my stuff in a friend's car, and I walked inside the house, and we were still loading the car, going back and forth, right? But as we were loading, going back and forth toward the house, some of the stuff got stolen. All my stuff got stolen. It was a briefcase that had my camera in it, and my laptop that was in my backpack. So they took the backpack and the briefcase, right? So I'm wondering about the situation, and I'm trying to compare it to this forked road situation. And there, my choices were to keep an eye on my stuff or to relax inside the house. Now, of course, because of everything that I lost, there's a lot of things that come into play in this situation. Because of all the things that I lost, it would seem like an obvious solution to just keep an eye on my stuff. But the way I measure things, it doesn't come out to be that simple, because you never know when things like this are going to happen, and for me, the price that I was supposed to pay to keep myself from going through that, from going through that loss, was not just to pay attention in that moment, but to pay attention constantly, and that to pay attention constantly all the time, to be wary, to have that worry in your mind, it takes a lot of stress. And so for the money that I lost, which was like about $500 total, if you add everything up, well, probably more, at least $500. But the price that I would pay to keep my stuff safe would be a constant stress, wondering about whether my stuff was going to get stolen or not. There was no expectation. So my choice, so I knew there was a risk in the back of my mind. I knew there was a risk, but I chose to relax, and just walk inside the house and not worry about whether my stuff was going to get taken or not. I thought it was a pretty safe place to put it. So my choice was, because it looks safe, I will trust that it's safe, and I didn't really think about the danger in leaving my stuff unsupervised. And because I made the decision, I was able to relax in that moment, and that my relaxation was the price that I paid, or no, the stuff that I lost was the price that I paid for that my ability to relax there. I think if I were to come across the same situation again, I would again choose to relax. Just because when you add it up, if you're in a really safe place, but you're always stressed, and it doesn't matter how safe a place looks, you're always stressed. I think that's a bigger price to pay than the stuff that you're losing. So if I were in the same situation, I would probably again choose to relax, because the chances of something like that happening are really low, and it's not a price that I would pay to prevent those chances from getting to me. So as far as unknown the unknown percentage of attainment in certain items, there's a skill that comes into play, probability, observation, and your skill and observation. As far as things that come into play, as far as paying the price for something, is attention and concern, and that involves stress. So when you're making a decision, when you're at a fork in the road, there's a lot of there's more things that you need to weigh out. The time that you spend on it, the amount of thinking that you spend on making a decision. There's a considerable amount of things that you need to weigh out, even besides whether you should make choice A or choice B, because everything that you do is a choice. And when you come across a forked road, it's not just A and B, it's A and B plus all these other options. There's A, there's B, there's waiting with thinking, there's this amount of stress right here, there's worrying, and it splits off into even more. So it's never that simplistic as A and B. But because there's a lot of factors and there's a lot of things to weigh out. But I will analyze this even more. Right now, I'm still focused on the possibility. So I don't really know where any of this is going, but I'm just taking all my observations, all the notes that I'm taking, and I'm trying to build on top of them. I'm trying to spread them out to see how to see what I can develop from it, to see what I can discover from everything from all the thoughts that come in. So far I have the factors that play into it. There's the factors in deciding in gambling, and then there's the factors in what else is that? In the price you pay in deliberation. And then there's 3 levels of forked road. There's complete satisfaction, which is natural attainment. There's considering probabilities, and then there's culminant manifestation. So that's when you add up everything. So those are things that I'm considering, and I will keep on considering them and see where else it goes and see what I can weigh out.